flowing south to north connected both Upper and Lower Egypt. At that time, it was the land of the two kingdoms. Movement was faster during the flooding period. If you wanted to go from Thebes to Memphis, approximately about 500 miles, it would take you about 2 weeks in the flooding season, but perhaps as long as 2 months when the waters were low. Boats and barges were constantly traveling between various centers, transporting grain and other commodities in good times and bad times as well. And canals were often cut from river tributaries that had dried up, and harbors were built to cater for the ever-increasing numbers and sizes of vessels. An example of this being the harbor at Medinat Habu in Thebes, built by Amenhotep III. Although the Egyptians could not completely tame this mighty river, they did, to the best of their abilities, try to limit its devastating effects. To be the longest river that stretches an amazing 4,184 miles long, running close in length to the Nile River, is the Amazon River. The Nile River actually touches Zaire, Ethiopia, Rwanda, Tanzania, Uganda, Sudan, Burundi, and Egypt. The ancient Egyptians used the Nile River as it played a big role on the civilization, history, and life of Egypt. It is known for producing soil that is extremely fertile, and this makes it easy for the citizens in ancient Egypt to grow crops. Most of Egypt has desert land that is dry. Throughout the year, hardly any rain falls in the deserts of Egypt. In today's world and ancient times, the Nile River gives the irrigation that is much needed. The Nile River is not only a good source of irrigation for crops, but it is also a good source for drinking. The Nile River also waters the papyrus reeds that are used for such things as building materials and papers. The Egyptians are very thankful to have the Nile River, as they always have been. This is because without the Nile River, living in ancient Egypt would have been even tougher. So the Nile was the main highway in ancient Egypt, and boats were used on the Nile, the Mediterranean, and the Red Sea. At that time, the boats that were used on the Nile were made of papyrus, and they were mainly used for fishing and hunting. There were also some other boats that were made of wood. Boat construction did not use nails at that time, but the wooden planks were hooked on one another and lashed together by ropes. The wooden boats were used as cargo ships, carrying the granite stones from Aswan and even heavy obelisks. Each obelisk weighs approximately 600 tons. It is just amazing when you think of ancient Egyptians and how they managed their life at that time. They were very well organized, always ready to face obstacles, proactive, and they knew how to put solutions to their problems at a time that they lacked all means of technology and even communication. Yet it was a successful and flourishing age. The Nilometer in modern Cairo on the southern tip of Rhoda Island facing Autostrad to the east is rather unique historical site, often overlooked by visitors to Cairo. It has the properties of being one of the oldest structures in Cairo built after the Arab conquest, as well as having a link to Egypt's pharaonic past. This Nilometer was used to measure the flood levels of the Nile River and is a heritage of Egypt's distant past when such structures dotted the course of Egypt's Grand River. These types of devices continued to be useful up till the modern era. It was used to regulate the distribution of water as well as to compute the levy of taxes paid as tribute by Egypt to the Arab Caliph, since the generosity of the Nile was in large part an indication of Egypt's prosperity. It is a little bit more sophisticated than earlier examples, such the one that exists in Elephantine Island in the Nile at Aswan. Whenever you visit Egypt, make sure to be on a cruise to move around Egypt. On that cruise, you can spend some wonderful time because it will take you along the river. You will pass by many different places that you can enjoy. Moving on from Luxor to Aswan to Edfu, you will stop by different temples, different ancient sites that really deserve to learn more about it and to visit. But also remember to read more about the Nile and more about ancient civilization that existed one day on the banks of the Nile.